morning and a very warm welcome. You're watching JanataTelevision and this is the English Bulletin with me, Sushant Hakal. The top stories first. 7 police personnel injured in a Rukum clash. Police arrest 6 mobsters for inciting violence. Global warming poses risk to glacial lake outburst in Nepal. Experts say too little efforts made to mitigate the impacts. Price of clothes increases by 20% during this Dasai. Businessmen blame delay in customs clearance for the price hike. Myanmar Army General excluded from Leaders Summit. ASEAN to invite a non-political leader for the meeting. And Liverpool crushed Watford in Premier League. City and Chelsea win their respective matches. And now the news in detail. Clashes between the locals and police in Musikot of Rukum district has left 7 police personnel injured. The clash that occurred at Bagbazar area of Rukum on Friday night left Sub-Inspector Komal Raj Bohra and 6 other police personnel injured. Sub-Inspector Bohra was taken to Nepalganj Medical College for treatment the same night, but the hospital referred him elsewhere as his treatment was not possible. According to police headquarters, he is receiving treatment at the capital-based police hospital. Likewise, Police Sergeant Kali Bahadur Bohra and Police Constable Lakshman Gurung have also been admitted to the hospital. Other 4 police personnel sustained minor injuries and were discharged from hospital after primary treatment. The clash occurred after police tried to prevent a mob from damaging a truck with registration number RA1H2392. The mob was trying to break the glasses of the truck under the influence of alcohol. When the police intervened, they were also attacked by the mob. Police have arrested 6 persons in connection to the incident. The temperature of Earth is growing every year due to climate change. Scientists say that it is already too late to initiate the process to minimize the extent of the damage. The depletion of ozone layer and increase in pollution has led to existential crisis for the human beings. Global warming has threatened the human civilization as well as natural environment. Temperature had been increasing at an average of 0.08 degrees Celsius since 1880, but the rate of increment doubled after a century from 1981 onwards. The rate of increase in global warming is 1.2 degrees Celsius in 2020. Experts warn that global warming has direct impact on melting of glacial lake and the risk of outburst. Glaciers collected from years of melting due to the warm temperature resulting in flash floods. A study conducted in Melamchi area also pointed out to this fact. The government has been draining water from glacial lakes time and again, but analysts say this is not sufficient to avert a major disaster. Regina Maske, chief of the Environment Department of Tribhuvan University, says that global warming threatens the very existence of certain species and also causes climate change as well as change in the life cycle of crops. Many countries have adopted clean energy to mitigate the impact of global warming, but Nepal is still far away despite having great potential in hydropower. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. The government yesterday confirmed 136 new cases of coronavirus across the country. Following the latest round of tests, the total cases of coronavirus in the country have climbed to 804,652, while the number of active cases has dropped to 12,598 from the overnight tally of 13,308. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, altogether 780,776 infected persons have recovered from the disease in the country so far, following the recovery of 845 patients yesterday. The death toll from coronavirus has climbed to 11,278 after the virus claimed one more life yesterday. Nepal is currently among the top 44 countries that have been most affected by the pandemic. The USA tops the list with over 45.77 million confirmed cases, followed by India with over 34.06 million cases. Coronavirus has infected more than 241.14 million people across the world and claimed over 4.9 million lives. And now the news from the economic front. With the onset of Dasai, the number of people opting to buy new clothes has increased. There is a tradition of wearing new clothes during the festival of Dasai. Although people do not wait for Dasai to buy new clothes anymore, their spending increases during this time of year. The number of people visiting downtown market areas like Asan and Indrachok has increased significantly during Dasai. People have been visiting the market to buy clothes despite the risk of COVID-19 in crowded areas. However, the prices of clothes and ready-made goods have increased by 20% this year. The businessmen say that the price has increased due to the difficulty in custom clearance. The importers are unable to bring clothes from China due to the restrictions imposed to curb coronavirus. This has resulted in price hike of ready-made goods. Although a considerable number of people are seen in market areas, businessmen say their businesses have declined this year due to the decline in purchasing power of middle and low-income families. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back, and now the international news. The army general who seized power in Myanmar in February has been excluded from an annual summit of regional leaders later this month. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations agreed to invite a non-political representative from Myanmar instead of Jen Min Aung Hlaing, BBC reported. It is an unprecedented move for the 10-member bloc, which traditionally avoids interfering in its members' affairs. Myanmar's military junta said it was disappointed with the decision. ASEAN said the military had not done enough to end the turmoil in Myanmar. In August, Jen Min Aung Hlaing named himself Prime Minister and said the country's state of emergency would be extended as fighting between the army and the militia forces opposed to the military coup continued. ASEAN said in a statement that an emergency meeting of its foreign ministers on Friday was unable to reach a consensus on whether the military should represent Myanmar at the summit to be held between 26 to 28 October. The group said Myanmar's military leaders had refused to fulfill promises of dialogue and de-escalation and said its representative had been banned from meeting the deposed and imprisoned civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi. You're watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. Roberto Firmino scored a hat-trick as rampant Liverpool condemned Claudio Ranieri to a miserable start to life as Watford manager in a one-sided game at Vicarage Road. The home side had no answers to Liverpool's fluid attacking play. Sadio Mane became the third African player to score 100 Premier League goals before Roberto Firmino struck either side of the break, and Mohamed Salah finished a brilliant individual goal with a smart shot beyond Ben Foster. Salah's goal takes him level with former Chelsea striker Didier Drogba as the highest scoring African player in Premier League history with 104 goals. Firmino completed the scoring in the final minute for his first hat-trick since December 2018. In another match, Kevin De Bruyne made certain Manchester City beat Burnley after Bernardo Silva's early strike. Although City dominated possession and created plenty of chances, they failed to extend their advantage, giving the visitors hope. Burnley gave them a few scares before De Bruyne added a second goal with 20 minutes to go, curling his shot home when the ball broke to him inside the box. Elsewhere, Chelsea held off an intense late push from Brentford to return to the top of the Premier League. England left-back Ben Chilwell's first-half goal was enough to win the West London derby. The International Olympic Committee believes FIFA's plans to hold a men's World Cup every 2 years poses a threat to other sports and gender equality. Biennial World Cups could cause a clash between the football showpiece and the Olympic Games, a major event in the women's football calendar. An IOC statement said conflicts with other events would undermine the diversity and development of sports. It added more men's event would create challenges for women's football. Earlier in October, a joint statement from UEFA and 10 European women's leagues said the plans could be profoundly detrimental. The IOC said it shares concerns raised by other sporting bodies, including around player welfare, stating doubling the frequency of World Cup would create a further massive strain on the physical and mental health of the players. The Olympic governing body said it supports calls for a wider consultation with athletes' representatives, adding that this has obviously not taken place. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin, and the headlines once again. 7 police personnel injured in Rukum clash. Police arrest 6 mobsters for inciting violence. Global warming poses risk to glacial lake outbursts in Nepal. Experts say too little efforts made to mitigate the impacts. Price of clothes increases by 20%. During Dasai, businessmen blame delay in custom clearance for price hike. Myanmar Army General excluded from Leaders Summit. ASEAN to invite a non-political leader for the meeting. And Liverpool crush Watford in Premier League. City and Chelsea win their respective matches. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website, janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.